right now. Your body is sending you a distress signal, and there is a very good chance you are completely missing it. There is something profoundly humbling about the human body. It is a system of staggering complexity, a biological masterpiece that has evolved over hundreds of thousands of years to survive, adapt, and persist. And yet, despite all of that elegance, despite all of that intelligence wired into every cell and every organ, we manage to ignore its most basic requests on a daily basis. We drink coffee instead of water. We confuse exhaustion with emotional burnout. We blame stress for our headaches and our poor concentration. And all the while, the body continues sending signals, quiet, patient, persistent, waiting for us to simply listen. Today, I now want to talk about one of the most underestimated health conditions in the modern world. Not a rare disease, not a complicated syndrome. I am talking about dehydration, specifically the kind that hides in plain sight. The kind that does not come with obvious thirst, but instead wears 5 different disguises that most people never recognize. The first sign is one that almost everyone gets wrong. It is fatigue. Not the ordinary tiredness that follows physical exertion or poor sleep, but a particular kind of fatigue that lingers even after rest, one that makes the mind feel as though it is wading through something thick and reluctant. When the body loses water, the blood becomes slightly more viscous. The heart works harder to pump it. Oxygen delivery to the muscles and brain slows. The mitochondria, those remarkable little engines inside each cell, begin to slow their output because the biochemical environment they depend on is no longer optimal. The result is a fatigue that feels internal, almost molecular. And what do most people do in that moment? They reach for coffee, they reach for sugar, and they reach for stimulants that temporarily override the signal without ever addressing its origin. What the body was asking for, quietly and patiently, was water. The second sign lives in the mind, and it is perhaps the most philosophically fascinating of all 5. When dehydration progresses beyond mild levels, the brain, that extraordinary organ that defines our consciousness, our creativity, our capacity for love and reason, actually shrinks. I do not mean this metaphorically. When brain volume decreases due to fluid loss, the cerebral tissue physically contracts inward, pressing away from the skull's inner wall. The resulting tension produces headaches often indistinguishable from stress-induced ones. Beyond the physical pain, the cognitive impact is remarkable. Concentration fragments. Short-term memory becomes unreliable. Emotional regulation softens, and the individual becomes more reactive, more prone to irritability, more susceptible to anxiety. To think about how many moments in daily life we attribute to stress, to personality, to circumstance, when the underlying reality may be something as correctable as a glass of water. The third sign is one we can see with our own hands. It is written into the skin. Human skin is not merely a cosmetic surface. It is the body's largest organ, constantly exchanging moisture with its environment. When internal hydration drops, the body initiates a triage process. It pulls fluid away from peripheral tissues, the skin, the subcutaneous layers, the extremities, and redirects it toward the vital organs at the core. A simple test, one that physicians have used for decades, involves gently pinching the skin on the back of the hand and observing how quickly it returns to its natural position. Well-hydrated skin rebounds almost instantaneously. Dehydrated skin hesitates. It rises slowly, almost reluctantly, as though unsure of its own structure. This is called skin turgor. And the next time you look at your skin and wonder why it appears dull, ask not what products you are applying to its surface, but what you are providing from within. The fourth sign is one most people notice, but rarely interpret correctly. It is the color of urine. The kidneys filter approximately 180 liters of blood every single day. They are perpetually calibrating, deciding what to keep and what to discard. When the body is well hydrated, The kidneys excrete waste dissolved in ample fluid, producing pale, almost clear urine, a sign of comfortable, efficient filtration. But when water is scarce, the kidneys shift into conservation mode. They concentrate the urine and produce a deep amber, almost orange fluid. Unmistakably the body's way of saying, I am running low, and I am doing everything I can to preserve what remains. Most people glance at dark urine, shrug, and move on. But that color is a distress flare. It is the body's reporting system operating in emergency mode, and it deserves acknowledgement. The fifth sign is perhaps the subtlest, and yet once you understand it, you will never experience it the same way again. It is a sudden craving, not for food exactly, but what feels like food. A strange, confusing hunger that arrives at odd moments, particularly in the afternoon. Here is what is happening biologically. The hypothalamus, a small but immensely powerful region of the brain that governs both hunger and thirst, sends its signals through overlapping neural pathways. When it attempts to communicate thirst, the signal can be misinterpreted, especially in individuals who have spent years suppressing thirst cues, as a craving for food. The body reaches for calories when what it actually needs is fluid. The next time an unfounded hunger arrives unexpectedly before reaching for food, try reaching for water and simply waiting. And the clarity that follows is often immediate and unmistakable. What strikes me most deeply about all 5 of these signs is not their scientific complexity. It is their accessibility. You do not need a laboratory. You do not need a physician's appointment or an expensive diagnostic test. You need only the willingness to pay attention, to notice the quality of your fatigue, to observe the clarity of your thinking, to look at your skin with genuine curiosity, to treat the color of your urine as meaningful information, to distinguish between hunger and thirst with a moment's reflection. The body is always communicating. It has been communicating since the moment of your first breath, and it will continue until the very last one. Dehydration is not a dramatic crisis that arrives suddenly. It is a gradual withdrawal of the conditions that allow us to think well, move well, feel well, and be well. Yes, its early signs are not hidden because the body is secretive. They are hidden because we have become accustomed to overlooking them.